Hi, everybody. This is Getrude Matshe here in Wellington, New Zealand, and welcome again to the HerStory podcast. I am graced with the presence of yet another amazing woman coming to me from Sydney, Australia. Nelsa, welcome to the HerStory podcast.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tell everybody your full name, where you're based, how old you are, and share your story with us today.
I am Nelsa. I am based in Sydney and I'm 53 years old. My story is started when I was very little. My first memory I have was I woke up in a hospital and I woke up screaming. Now, I didn't know what was going to happen, but I found out that they had pulled all my teeth out. And as a little 3-year-old, you don't understand why people make decisions. And then later on in my life, I suffered from some sexual abuse. So when you go through things like this, you start formulating who you are as a person, and it's formulated on the things that happen in your life. So I decided a very good thing for me to do would be to leave school at 13 years old. And I left and I started drinking. And I got into a situation where I decided to leave home at 15 and travel. And I ended up marrying somebody that wasn't healthy for me. And I wasn't healthy either. So we joined two unhealthy people together, which ends up being a very dysfunctional relationship. There's not glue that people come with to glue their relationship together. So on top of my heartaches and trauma, I added a marriage that I wasn't ready for, and I brought a broken person to a family, to a marriage.
How old were you when you got married?
18.
18 years old. Oh my gosh, you were young.
Yeah, I was really young. But Gertrude, I thought I knew everything. I thought I can make it work. So fast forwarding, we ended up having 5 beautiful children. So my children now are 25, 27, 29, 31, and 33.
Wow.
But looking back, I stayed in an unhealthy marriage, and I also helped contribute to that unhealthiness because I didn't know how to make things better for myself. As a mum, you just get busy and you want things to work. You want your family to be healthy. You want yourself to be healthy. You want your husband to be happy. And you don't realize that what you're getting into is a whole lot more brokenness because you haven't had any of the healing to make it work.
Oh, wow. Well, it sounds to me like you held in there for a very long time. How long were you married? And why did you stay in that long?
I was married for 32 years
Mm-hmm.
and I just believed in being a good wife and love will make it work. Well, what happened to that? I had a massive breakdown and I collapsed and I was in bed for 1 year and I didn't speak for that year.
Mm.
And in my recovery time, I realized that I needed help and I started to get help, but the marriage was still very unhealthy. And what happens in that is your children suffer. And not going into it now, but my children suffered greatly because I wanted to be a mum that helped, made things work, made a marriage work, but I lost my value and my worth and I lost who I was trying to make other people happy, and it doesn't work. So I ended up leaving the marriage later, being homeless.
And you were 50. How old were you then when you were homeless?
48. And I never thought in a million years I would be homeless. But that is a big problem Homelessness is a big problem, but it wasn't my biggest problem. My big problem was I didn't know who I was.
Oh,
And
God.
I wanted to look in the mirror and say, girl, you're doing great. But
Mm.
clearly I wasn't. My family was a mess. I was a mess. And I knew that I needed to get myself into a place. And going down the homeless path seems like a funny way to do that, to get myself into a good place. But I
Yeah.
knew that I needed to reach out, and I was in and out of crisis centres and asking for help, begging for help, crying a lot. And but at the same time as looking in the mirror and saying, I don't know who I am, I also knew I had what it took to get on my feet.
So you had a certain conviction. You knew that although you were in a bad place, it was temporary and you had done the right thing, and it was a gut feel that you trusted, correct?
Yes, and during that time that I had my breakdown, even though I didn't talk, towards the end of it, I started formulating in my mind what needed to happen to help people get on their feet. So I wrote a program called This Is Who I Am.
Okay.
And I put that into practice. I put everything into practice about what I felt was missing, what I felt people needed. And Gertrude, what happened was I ended up piloting that program with 125 people and then ended up winning Best Business Idea in Sydney at the Create conference. So that's what I'm doing with my life now, just telling people you can do it and this is how you can do it. It's about restoring identity and knowing who you are. And me, I am Nelsa.
That is fascinating because a lot of times women get lost in the different roles that we play.
Yeah.
You are, first of all, a mother, you are a wife, you are a sister, you are a daughter, you're a granddaughter. We wear so many hats, we forget the essence of who we truly are.
Mm.
And for those who are lucky to find something that makes them break out of that mold, you do get a chance to do it all over again and become a full expression of who you really are. And that sounds to me that's exactly what you've done.
And also, Gertrude, my marriage that I really wanted to be in became my rut. It was my hard place. It wasn't healthy. And other people can have different ruts. Some people can go through life and they haven't been able to bear children. And it becomes a place, a hard place, a difficult place that they find it hard to get out of. Other people have financial ruts or career ruts, or they just don't know how to make life come together. So in this day and age, I looked inside myself to develop my gifts, talents, abilities, values, and strengths. Because, as you know, we've become a society, a world that is medicating emotion, and it's not okay. There's another way to find ourselves.
Oh, wow. It's just amazing what you've managed to do because, again, age is a big limitation for most women.
I'm 53 and I'm really proud of it. I'm really, really proud of it. I love being this age.
And the thing that we forget is that after the age of 50, or let's just say after the age of 40, you have amassed so much knowledge that
Wisdom.
can break you. Exactly. It's that wisdom. But so where did you find the confidence? Because sometimes your confidence is knocked through what you've gone through, or maybe a better question to ask is, how do you restore your confidence at that age?
I looked within and I looked without. My family, my children were hurting a lot. And I thought to myself, okay, you're still a mum. You've got to get on your feet and do what needs doing. And I read once that when you have hard times and crises, that you do the next thing. The
Yes.
next thing might be changing your baby's nappy, or it might be greeting the neighbour. You get up and you do the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So I wrote a plan, and this sounds funny, but I bought, you know, those little stars those little stars that you give children at school to say good work.
Little stickers.
I did that for myself.
Oh.
I gave myself, when I was homeless, I gave myself a little sticker at the end of the day for everything that I did. Like, if I was really kind to somebody, if I thought outside of the box, if I did things for myself, or whatever I did, I gave myself a little sticker. Sometimes I hopped into bed crying and crying because the day was hard, and I'd be just about asleep, and a little voice in my head was like, "You didn't get a sticker today." So I would get up and do something nice. I'd write a nice note to somebody or send them a nice message just to get that sticker, just to back myself. And so there's a lot of little things that we can do.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was watching a video, I think it was Oprah, who was talking about something very similar. And she said something like, when you feel yourself feeling really stuck, all you have to do is say, so what is my next step?
Next step.
And it could be just getting out of bed. It could be going to the kitchen and making yourself a cup of tea. It could be getting in the shower and taking a bath. For me, it became putting on my face every morning. So when I went through my separation and my divorce, I felt so horrible inside. I could not look at myself in the mirror. That's how bad I felt. And every day I would say, wake up, go and put on your face. And I started wearing makeup, and I could look at myself in the mirror again. And I literally watched myself transform from the outside in, because everybody tells you it's an inside job. Start on the inside, start on the inside. For me, it was the exact opposite. I had to pretend and put on this mask that I was okay to be able to leave the house and go out of the house. Yeah. So whatever it is for you, that's what you have to do.
I also want to add, because this is really important, I did not walk away from a man that I didn't want to be with and I didn't love. I loved that man and I wanted to be there. A lot of people need to know that, because we stay when it's not healthy.
Yeah, and it was the same thing with me, because when I got to the point where I felt that I hated him, that was the point I thought it's now time for me to leave. I kept thinking, I want to be able to go to our daughter's wedding and hug each other and still be friends and celebrate our baby getting married. I thought about my sons, and I thought, what am I saying to my boys about relationships with their partners and their wives? Yeah. I'm telling them that this is how you treat a woman. I thought about my daughter, and I thought, what if she ends up in a relationship where she is not happy and she's staying for the children like what I did? What am I saying to her? We are our role models, right? And you would rather have two parents who are separate and happy, yes, than two parents that are together and miserable.
Yeah.
I really thank you for coming on board. So let's finish the podcast with your little nuggets of wisdom. And I keep asking all of my interviewees this question, that if you were talking to your younger self right now and you had to give her 3 pieces of advice, what would they be?
I'd say, Nelsa, you can do it. I would say that you're only limited by your mind, so take control of your mind. And I'd say laugh and have fun on the journey, because life is full of fun. And live in the present. Live in the present and you will have a rich life.
Oh, wow. Thank you for coming online and doing this podcast. I am hoping that there is a woman out there right this minute who has tuned in to listen to this podcast, and she hears your story, she hears your advice and your little nuggets of wisdom, and it changes her life. So
I do too.
Honored to have met you. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Take care and stay in touch.
Thank you.